He is from a place in Westmoreland called Timbergully. He is Jamaican. He has a wide portfolio of work. Let's make him feel welcome. Stephen Drummond, our keynote speaker for the evening.
Good evening.
Teach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
Each time you heard that I'm from a small little part, it's actually from Hanover, a little town called Timbergully. None of you have ever been there, none of you have heard of it, but it's a beautiful little place. If you ever get a chance to visit, please do. I want to take a moment, we don't have a lot of time, but I want to take some time to go through two things with you tonight. The first, I want to say thank you to Jamaica. Many of us have traveled abroad and have attained some measure of success. But I can speak absolutely for myself and many of my friends to tell you that none of it would happen without sweet, sweet Jamaica. I stand here very mindful that my debt to Jamaica is a debt that I will never ever be repaid. So I want to say thank you. One of the things I learned from my grandmother growing up here is don't watch the noise in the market, make sure you get the correct change. We fight some tough cases, but I can tell you every time that I walk into a courtroom to take on some of those challenges, I remember my grandmother. Don't watch the noise in the market, correct change we are defending. That continues to be a mantra in the prosecution and fighting cases. Let me take a moment to also acknowledge Mr. Tony Rebel and his team, Jehuda. I just want to say thank you guys for the invitation. Thank you so much for Rebel Salute, and thank you for all you do for Jamaica. Tony, you're not just a client, you're a friend. And you share, as we do, a moral sense of obligation to uplift your fellow man. And I see you doing it here, and I see that's who you are. And I want to tell you, we are in absolute one accord. When I say to you, I identify and share that too, a moral obligation to uplift our fellow man. Now, let's talk about reggae music a little bit. As I came to the airport this morning, I see a sign, Norman Manley Airport. Reggae music, the heartbeat of a country. The heartbeat of this country. Most reggae artists, since we've been representing reggae artists, most artists tells us one thing. We love to perform. Listen, they want to perform. They love the joy that we get from seeing them performing, most artists. And very few artists think about the business aspect of being an artist. So I'm going to try to take about 10 to 15 minutes to talk a little bit about that. But before I do, let me take a moment to thank my law partner, Joanne Scalacci, for coming. Joanne, please stand up and say hello to the folks. I'm also grateful, you guys might have heard of a company called Aon, one of the biggest insurance companies in the world. I'm very grateful that the Vice President of Aon of New York came down, Jared Stevens, to join us also. Jared, thank you so much. I'm always grateful whenever I travel to have my wife, Vanessa, with me on the road. Let me tell you a little bit, and I don't want to talk too much about me, but let me tell you about reggae music as it relates to inspiration. Mr. Myri's song, Not an Easy Road, is a song that carried me through law school. Yesterday in Miami, we left New York Saturday, we had a big case in Miami yesterday, and I was given the privilege of arguing that case yesterday. And as we worked all night Sunday night. I think we broke Sunday night about 10:30. And getting up, we had to be in court at 8:15 Monday morning, yesterday in Miami. And you needed some inspiration, at least I needed some inspiration. But I turned to two reggae songs as my inspiration. It's Luciano, you familiar with that song? That says, it's me again, Jah, as I fall on my knees to pray. There's another friend of mine who sings a song, Tony Rebel, who said, if Jah is by my side, then why should I be afraid? I've had the privilege of serving in the United States military for now 26 years. I know a lot of friends who have gone into battle, into war, with a reggae music, either playing in their ears or a memory that will motivate them. Someone said earlier that reggae music, I think it's a lady from Courts, who acknowledged the myriad of songs and how it inspires us. I am fairly confident that irrespective of what moment we are going through in our lives, whether it's joy, peace, sadness, unhappiness, there is a reggae song that has either seen us through it or can see us through it. Do you agree with me, ladies and gentlemen? So, let me talk to the artists for a little bit. I want to leave you young artists in particular with two things. And in our firm, we went back and forth as to what order these two things should go into. And I eventually fall on perform, protect, to preserve. My law partner, Mr. Golaji, said, well, by right, they should protect first to preserve before they perform. It makes sense. But because of my experience in interacting with a number of you, I've come to realize that your first love is really to perform. But you also must protect. Reggae music is a billion-dollar worldwide industry. I want to repeat that. Reggae music, born, raised, and generated right here in Jamaica, is a multi-billion-dollar worldwide money-making industry. Most artists, I might even say all artists, get into the business because they get a certain degree of joy from simply performing. But there is a much more significant aspect to performing. You must make sure you are protected, to make sure that your legacy lives on for generations to come. So while you enjoy performing, protect so that you can preserve. Now, I had the privilege of working with a team of lawyers, powerful lawyers that we've assembled, who take on tough fights. We enjoy it. And we have taken on some tough challenges. I was so happy when I came in earlier to see Flourgon. A very, very happy client. We are the law firm that took on the fight for Flourgon on behalf of, against Miley Cyrus and Sony. And it was so pleasing to walk in the room, to be here, to see a client very happy to see us. But it's not one group of people, it's a team of people that are served to make this happen. There are many more that we work to protect and to preserve their rights. But you first, young artists, must make an effort to protect. Don't run to perform first. Protect, because your legacy must live on. And the means by which your legacy live on is through protecting it legally. In the United States of America, before you can initiate any copyright infringement lawsuit, you must file your copyright. It's simple. It's a condition precedent, we call it. You must first file your copyright before you can sue. And time again, you'll listen to a song, a music somewhere, and you hear a little bit of reggae in it. And somewhere along the line, if you dig deep enough, people have observed your creativity. As I sat there tonight, listen to so many of these young artists, you see great promise in them. Tony Rebel mentioned Kofi was 2 years ago when she was on Rebel Salute. Now you see where she is. And I trust that before she is where she is, she protects. Because protecting your legacy by ensuring that your music is copyrighted so that no one can take it, and if they do, you will be compensated for it, it's very, very important. You must do so. Now, another part of why, separate and apart from having a good legal team, what I would respectfully suggest to young artists is make sure you have the right team around you. While you perform, make sure you have the right manager around you. While you perform, make sure you have the right accountant around you. While you perform, make sure you have the right people around you whose job it is to make sure you are doing what you need to do to protect your legacy. It is very sad sometimes when you see an artist who have achieved so much, who is left with little financial resources at the end. Managing yourself as an artist involves managing yourself as a business. You are, plain and simple, a brand. Nothing short of it. And a brand requires you to act like a brand. You need a good public relations person. You need a good team of lawyers around you. You need a good manager around you to make sure that your rights are protected.
So, Mr. Drummond, I just want to ask you a few little questions. I'll ask you them in pattern of, you know, you understand the Jamaican vernacular.
Yeah, man.
See, respect. So, let me ask you something. At what point of an artist's career does he need to start preparing for what you describe as legacy?
The moment the artist comes to realize that this is what he or she wants to do for a living. Plain and simple. And there's a simple way of, well, you really can't do it here in Jamaica, but in America we have what's called a poor man copyright. And it's not a very complicated process. If you've created a song, you might as well just put it on a thumb drive or CD or something and put it in an envelope, seal the envelope, mail it to yourself, and keep the envelope sealed forever. That will establish what we call a poor man copyright. It simply demonstrates that you originated by the date that is stamped on that letter that you sent to yourself from the post office. That's a simple way. A lot of folks do that there, but the right way to do it is to make sure you get it copyrighted in the United States. And interestingly enough, it's not very expensive. It's, relatively speaking, it's not a very expensive process, particularly in comparison to the amount of money people lose when they don't get it copyrighted.
Get that? See it? All right, so let me divert from this paper and just ask you something as a wise attorney from Jamaica. You think the president going to be impeached?
Well, I can candidly say this. This is a question that I get asked from time to time. I'm in the United States military. The President of the United States is my commander-in-chief. I'm on my 28th year of military service, and I follow lawful orders, and that's where my job is.
See, that was very diplomatic. Good. Okay, Mr. Drummond, you are an expert in immigration.
We have great relations with folks who do it. And going back to answering that, the beauty of what we do, Drummond and Scolaci, there's very little case that will come to us that we won't have a great relationship with someone who is an expert in handling it. So for example, the case we argued yesterday involves, it's on the news, so I'm not disclosing anything privileged, the #1 NBA draft pick for 2019, a young man by the name of Zion Williamson. We initiated suit in Miami against him. We have a total of 4 law firms working on it. Drummond and Scolaci, my law partner, and I, we came down from New York. 1 lawyer came from California, and a team of lawyers came from Miami to be a part of that case. The nature of the cases that we handle and the complexity of it requires a lot of folks to be involved. But leveraging relationship, and I would suggest that that's not unique to the practice of law, that's just life. If I'm a young artist The only problem Tony Rebel is gonna have with me is that I'm gonna bother him too much because I'm gonna pick his brain constantly. But the good thing I know about Tony is he doesn't mind that. One of the things a young artist will seek to do is say, well, I think it's Shabba Ranks has a song, Respect the Elders. And he talks about, and as I said, look, we can talk Jamaican a little bit?
Yes, man, no must.
All right, we'll do it Jamaican style. So Shabba Ranks have a song said, someone made one song, and it's a great song, and they carry on like said, them make it. And there's a lack of humility. And he started listing a series of accomplished Bonnie Wailer, Bob Marley, Tony Rebel, accomplished people. Young artists, I would respectfully suggest, and I did that as a young lawyer, I bothered judges in their chambers, I bothered senior lawyers who tried a whole bunch of cases. The lawyer that is my mentor who's on this case with me now, and I served on the case, Flourgon's case, is a lawyer named Willie Gary. He was an inspiration. I bothered him so much, I still seek his counsel. Because you can never get too big to seek to be humble, to find out how someone like Tony Rebel, the legacy that he has created, I would bother him and say, when did you first get the idea to create that legacy? And let me even jump a little bit further. The thing I also love doing is finding out the backstory of how an artist wrote a song. So if I'm a young artist, and a song like, what a nice place we live, sweet John Donne, only problem is, Allah's not wrong. And a song like, if Jah is by my side. Tony Rebel will tell you, in early stage of a relationship, one of the things I ask him is, how did that song come about? It's not my place to disclose it, but I bugged him because I wanted to know how he came up with that song. And I love the song, but I love the backstory more. Because in the weakness of challenges of everyone's life, all of us go through moments where we feel up here. Yesterday morning when I had an 8:15 oral argument on the biggest case in my legal career, I needed a little bit more inspiration. So when I draw for Luciano, I'm in draw for Tony Rebel, and I also draw for another guy. I'm winning right now. You know the guy there? So I walked in the court yesterday in Miami with 3 Jamaican and another religious song, but 3 Jamaican songs brought me into the courtroom. I walked in convinced that I'm winning right now. Because if you believe it, it will happen. And it's as a result of them, but I learned his backstory about Jah by my side. And because of that backstory, I said, well, if Jah brought Tony through that, you know, Jah is gonna see us through. Incidentally, we walked out yesterday where the judge said, the other side motion is denied. We won. But I would be remiss to say I did that by myself or the team did it by themselves. We saw the inspiration of you. So I have to say thank you.
You're welcome, sir. So, you know, I'm tempted.
No,
You know I'm tempted. 1%. but back to the immigration. There is a lot of artists from Jamaica who they lost their visas, and a lot of them get turned down. Even politicians and a lot of people are losing their visas here. Do you have any kind of, you know, advice, especially for artists, how to move, you know, outside of their jurisdiction when with their visas?
Simply straightforward. This is not work that I do, but I have what I believe to be the greatest immigration lawyer in all of immigration lawyers. And incidentally, we only associate with the best. And nothing wrong with people who are trying, but when it comes to serious work, and when I say the best is, I mean people who are committed to their craft. The people who enjoy the fight and will fight and will fight and will fight. So if you call us, I'll be able to direct you to the best immigration attorney who have seen work some miracles to let people get reinstated, or people who you think were going to get deported somehow didn't get deported.
Wow. Let me tell you something. I am not a lawyer, but I've seen Mr. Drummond in action. Him not easy as a Jamaican. I'm very proud of him. Mr. Green, you're an attorney. you want to ask your counterpart anything, sir? I'm proud of him, man. I'm telling you, I'm proud. Hey, tell them where you're from again.
So, all right. So, there's a little, if you go to Hopewell, Hanover, once you get to the square, you make a left if you're coming from Montego Bay. And you're gonna keep going where there are no street lights. There's a little place called
I know, I'm a countryman over here to give directions.
There's a place called Timber Gully. And if you ask them, say, hey, there's a little boy I used to play football around him and call him Bess. So I played at Herbert Morrison on the 14 with Hector Wright. Herbert Morrison. And as I said to you before, and when people say they're proud of you, listen, this is not an effort of being humble or humility. This is me just telling you how it is. I owe Jamaica a debt that I absolutely never ever will repay. You see, and Tony, we're not going to take up too much time, but I just want you to kind of get a backstory a little bit, because the backstory is kind of important to the front story. It's my blind aunt that taught me to study. And she would say, Stephen, because we didn't have money for common entrance. Remember common entrance, some of you guys? Yeah. So, because we didn't have money for common entrance, she would say to me, explain it to me so that I can see it. I have moved jurors, and I don't say this out of arrogance, but I have gotten some verdicts where everybody think you're gonna lose. I have moved jurors because every time that I do a summation or an opening statement, I remember my blind aunt. Explain it to them so that a blind person can see. Every aspect of my life and everything that I've accomplished in my life is as a result of the massive upbringing of Jamaica. So when you say, well, I'm proud of you and stuff like that, it's not tongue-in-cheek, I appreciate it, but trust me, I know me. It's all, but you guys know what I'm talking about, because you have grandmother and grandfather too. You know, like the silence, more I'm gonna clap for them, because it only seems like it's only me who have that. You have grandparents, neighborhood people who look out for you. Everybody have a Miss Punsi in the community. Every last one of you, there's a Miss Punsi who look out for every Jamaican in the community. So you know what I'm talking about when I say we are a product of this country, and we all collectively owe a debt to this country that we simply never ever will be able to repay. So I thank you for saying you're proud of me, but I thank you more for the contribution that you've made in my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stephen Drummond, real Jamaican from Timber Gully.
Teach them! Hey, yo, hello! Send the message and make it reach them. It's teach them. Right here, Warlord representing.
Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment below. Remember to like and share the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. Follow me on social media and check out the suggested videos on screen. This is Teach saying, until next time, walk good, my friends.